kanaka e laulea me ka mālama ana I ka Mailelauli'i. Beautiful, fragrant Mailelauli'i, uniquely shaped, long, thin-leafed maile, indigenous to Kauai. The sweet-smelling Mailelauli'i lei is considered a unique calling card of Kauai and is celebrated in numerous songs, ancient chants, and Hawaiian proverbs. This native plant is revered as a sacred plant by Hawaiian cultural practitioners, believing that it is the kinolau, or plant form of ancient deities. It has traditional and medicinal uses, and when weaved into a lei, it is considered the ultimate gift of aloha, to commemorate special occasions, such as an important hula performance, a graduation, a wedding, or the beginning of a new voyage or business venture. Members of Leadership Kauai's adult class of 2012 interviewed cultural practitioners and community leaders dedicated to celebrating the importance of the Mailelauli'i to Kauai and our island chain. Highlights include the historical and cultural significance of the Mailelauli'i, traditional Hawaiian protocol and proper ways to pick and propagate maile, and conservation efforts of community groups here on Kauai. Let's all mālama'aina and help ensure that Mailelauli'i will be enjoyed by our future generations.
Hakipu o ka nā hele hele haki hana maile o ka wau. Holu le o laka e, o hi'i aka ke kaula, e nāna e ho'olu nā mai. A ea e a ulu a noho I kou kuahu. E a ka pulela, he puli e ola no ea. So this chant asks permission of the goddess of the forest, whose name is Kapolaka. And the maile is a kinolau of hers. It's a embodiment, a plant embodiment form of Kapolaka. The forest is her kuahu, her altar. The dancer is also a kuahu, or an altar for Laka, which is why we love to adorn ourselves with this maile. And it brings the spirit of Laka, the spirit of hula, into our bodies. We also adorn our kuahu, our altar in our halau, with maile and with other kinolau of hula. But this maile, this beautiful Mailelauli'i, so healthy here and so beautiful in this maile greenhouse is, I'm so delighted to see maile being cultivated, because it needs to be. There's great demand for maile lei, for graduation, for Merry Monarch, for hula, for weddings, for you know, all special functions. And when I go into the forest now and I see maile being picked, not the way that I was taught to pick, carelessly, it hurts. So when I see maile being cultivated and grown so well as this is, I'm so happy. When I go into the forest to pick maile, I look for the maile that's at least 3 feet long, 2.5 to 3 feet long. And I go right down to the base of it where it connects to the main vine, and I put my little scarf around it and twist it, and I pull it off in one piece. Now this maile is in this beautiful greenhouse, and it gets mist at least once or twice a day, and so it's so fragrant, so fresh, and so beautiful. Maile is at a point in Hawaii that it needs to be cultivated to sustain. We have so many demands for it, from cultural practitioners to weddings and baby luau's and graduation, and Merry Monarch is a main, main demand for maile. This is our maile lei from Kauai.
Welcome to Grow Farm's Mailelauli'i project. I'm Tamara Wong, doctoral student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. This is our pilot shade house where we combine community outreach and education with research, and hopefully the future vision is for sustainable harvest to supply Kauai's cultural needs.
Okay.
So Mailelauli'i, which is small leaf maile, and it can go obviously even smaller than that. I mean, this is another lauli'i here. You notice it's very thin and strap shaped, and that's very, lauli'i is associated with Kauai. So if you go to Big Island, Oahu, you generally do not find this lauli'i. So people in all the main Hawaiian Islands have connection with maile, but I feel like people in Kauai have an even stronger sense of connection with their local varieties than other islands. By supporting the cultured industry, then you are conserving a plant by not taking from the wild. They don't root that readily. So. And of course, when you do cuttings, you can't just stick it in the soil and let it go. To stimulate the root formation, it's best to have misters, so you have a different watering system. It's the seeds that we showed earlier that look like little olives. It's best to soak them in water about overnight to loosen up the pulp, because the pulp is really tough on that seed. And then after overnight, if you see anything that's floating on the top of the bowl, you remove them, because those are likely not viable seeds. Then the ones that are on the bottom, you take the pulp off, and then you sow them onto this sterile media here. And as I said earlier, these seeds can take anywhere from a couple months and up to about, I would say, 6 months or so to germinate. And once they germinate and they have true leaves, then you can, these again, I've been on leave for 3 months, these need to be transplanted, but you transplant them into these 4-inch pots here. And then from there, we transplant them into the larger bags.
I know a lot of people, they'll have a new shoot of a maile, and if they propagate, they know what you never should pick. There's just one single maile coming out of the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the most beautiful one everybody wants, because it's so soft and easy to pull. You never ever pick that one.
Until its head's branched
Until
off.
it branches off, and that's why I say when it branches, you still pick only like one, because they'll like to pull that first and you just kill the plant.
What's that?
So you should never ever take the single. One more thing I learned when I was picking, if you're picking and it's in season when the fruit is there, then you take the fruit off of the plant and you plant also while you're picking to reproduce the next generation. It's not always about taking, it's about preserving what is still there. So that is really important. You never strip a plant. If we strip the bottom dry, it kills this big plant that's dropping the seed in hopes that that next generation can be reproducing itself. So it's a fine balance between everything. And
So they have been asking themselves, how do they best make sure that maile continues and that they teach their haumana not to deplete the resource? The best way to save maile is to save its habitat. It totally is. So the scientific way of saying that is in situ weeding on site, right? So that's what KRCP does. You know, they eliminate, you know, large stands and small stands, outliers of non-native plants, and that's what Kokua Kokei does by the roadsides and on trails. That's kind of like our kuleana. And I'm very excited about the roadside work. That's one of the things I totally love about Hawaii's ecosystem is its model for a cooperative economy. Because you go in there and there's a place for the maile, and there's a place for the uki, and there's a place for the big koa. It is Kokei Resource Conservation Program is one of the lead conservation efforts on the mountain. and Eben is a member of that staff. Huiolaka, which operates Koke Natural History Museum and has restored the camp, has a citizen-based conservation program called Kokua Koke. And we basically focus on front country trails, roadsides, and places that are precious to people rather than the larger forest. So the only way to do it is with lots of people. The other thing is we're called Hui o Laka. That means a group of people. So I had to find a program that could involve as many people as possible. And this one can involve 7-year-olds and old ladies and everybody in between. So, but if you attend to the roots of what Maile means in this culture, then you will have a successful enterprise.
My name's Christine. I first got introduced to the program when I was younger. I'd come up and volunteer with them. And then about 2 years ago I did a summer and internship program with them. And I liked it so much that I came back. And now I'm an AmeriCorps intern. The day-to-day stuff, we go out into the fields and we have certain areas specified under specific grants. And we weed ginger and guava, and sometimes we do incipients, which are, not covering a large area yet, but they potentially will be a large threat.
It's really special,
Yeah,
through
old ginger
rotting
root
yeah.
clumps, you see native plants sprouting up,
Yeah.
and it's really nice.
It's kind of
That's
what the
we like to
program's
see.
really trying to do is see native regrowth, because
Yeah.
what is the point if you're not trying to do something for the forest? But it's hard when there's only, in our program, we don't have any volunteers, it's just 3 of us maybe going out in the field. And you can do so much more with so much more people.
Every pair of hands is needed, and it's definitely a large help if everyone would come out. We could preserve the forest longer.
Ho'okanaka, e laulea me ka mala ma'ana I ka Mailelauli'i. Be someone. Celebrate caring for the Mailelauli'i and help ensure that it will be enjoyed by our future generations.
Ke lehi mai lau ka ulai ke kai e He malama lama o ni iha ua mali e A mali e pa He inu waila He inu maila Na hala o na ue I ke kai No na ue ka hala No puna ka wahine No kalua, no ikilau e